would you advise other people to start their own label or just stick to the big labels that are out there, or does it only work for a certain type of personality? Because it's a huge commitment starting a label and
Yeah,
really
well,
running it.
yes and no. In some way, I do feel like everyone should be independent to a certain degree. This day and age, there's so much you can do by yourself. You don't need a label anymore. You don't need it. You should only want it. So if it's something that fits you and if it if it helps you further, then go for it. And if you find a label that really believes in your music and that wants to, you feel like there's a connection, there's a click, and
Yeah.
you can tell it will work, then it's worth it. But if you are idolizing a certain label and you're like really working towards like, oh, I want to 100% release on Spinnin or Armada or on
Yeah,
Protocol or whatever,
you
you name
basically
it.
produce music for them.
Yeah, if you're producing music to satisfy someone else, you're not doing it for the right reason, and the likelihood of you actually making it is very small.
I also think you're always then too late because you copy
Yeah.
what they are doing at the time. Once you've done it and it's
Exactly.
good enough and you send it to them,
Yeah,
they already think about the next thing.
yeah. If you are okay, let's put it like this: you don't really have a, you don't have a big following or whatever, or you're not a well-known name in the industry, or you don't have the right connections, or most of the people that get signed to those bigger labels, they're already known for years or years or
Yes,
years.
they have a fan base.
Or someone else
followers.
introduced them. If you find like a brand new artist name on a big label, 90% chance that there's someone behind it that already knows everyone. So don't think like, oh, if that nobody or that new name can do it, I can do it too. That's usually not how it works.
So the story, I sit in my bedroom, make a song, send a demo to Armada, and I have a huge hit is nearly not happening.
It
'Cause
does it does happen, but it only with those hits, it only happens with the kind of songs that you don't hear on the label already. So the hits that you hear now, there's like a new twist. It doesn't have to be a completely new genre. Most of the time, it's just a combination of two things.
Usually,
So,
yes. It's
for
hard to
example-
invent something entirely new. So you
Yeah, so I
Do
think like a really
crossovers.
good example is what Chris Lake is doing now in Fisher. That whole
Yeah.
camp. It's tech house, but in a commercial way. That it's like it has a sort of EDM flair to it at
it
some
has
points.
this big room, like this horn thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
the big room elements, so that majority of clubbers will like it.
Yeah.
But that is with these really groovy tech house beats underneath, and that's just like they combined two working elements, two genres, and made it something new, and now they're dominating everything.
yeah, it's
And-
insane how big this track actually got.
Yeah,
I would have never predicted that because it's
exactly. But
it's
that's
not,
the kind of
not that commercial.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that labels are kind of looking for. So
Yeah.
what's happening, what's working. If you're producing stuff that's already released on the label, and they get a demo like that, they might probably think, "Oh, this sounds cool,"
But we already
but
done.
we
it.
already have stuff like that. So you either have to have a fan base, so we can sell this already to
Yeah.
your fan base. You need to, have something to offer except for a good track. It does happen, yes, but the likelihood is very small.
I think it
Most of the
even-
time they will probably tell you it's better to release on a smaller label, build up your fan base, and then once you're big enough, come talk to us again.
Because I think even if you would produce the perfect song and send it out to Spinnin', they might still think a million times about signing it because
Mm-hmm.
maybe your profile isn't big enough, you don't have enough fans. Because at the end, the label wants to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come with followers already, then
Yeah.
it's way more likely. So probably a combination of working your way up, taking it slow to some
Yeah.
degree, and maybe not dreaming too much about
Don't idealize it.
like skipping steps in
You
between.
can, of course, you can have the dream of signing to a big label or breaking through. I think everyone has that. We all have it. I still do, but I've become a lot more realistic on how to get it.
Yeah,
And I've also realized that sometimes, even if you like the label, it might not work out because you're just too different. Maybe either in your style or, if you get rejected by a label, don't take it personal because
no, I mean they get millions of songs
might,
per day.
It might not click at the right time. So it's better. I'm I'm gonna come back to the do you have to start your own label
Yeah.
part. You don't have to start your own label, but maybe release some music yourself if you don't get it signed to a label.
I mean, it's plan B.
So you can at least get the momentum rolling, and you start working on your own brand, your own career, your own path. And then at some point you start getting fans, you start understanding which part of the music that you create and make do people like and enjoy. And that part you should focus on, and that's something you could eventually sell to a label and be like, okay, I've released a couple songs, I've released it myself, they're working with this, it's been played by this DJ, it's been promoted on this promo channel, whatever. You've created something yourself, and then you can go shop at different labels and see which one fits the best. You might want to, you want to sign it to label A, and they're not really feeling it, and then all of a sudden, out of, you're just spreading your chance, and you've also sent it to label B, didn't really expect anything. You're really hoping for label A, and they say like, yeah, we're not really sure. And then label B all of a sudden hits you back with an email and they're saying like, we love it. This is exactly what we're looking for. We checked out your profile. We want to like really work with you and see where it goes. I would 100% go for label B, even if it's not as big.
Yeah.
If you have people behind you that believe in it and they
will do a lot more for you.
Yes.
Because even a release on a big label, if they don't believe in it or have other big artists, they might not push your song, and you'll get almost as many places if you just release it yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So basically, try sending it out to labels and connecting to people, and if nothing works out, release it yourself before not releasing it at all.
Yeah.
At least this way you have like a chance.
Yeah, and also try to find your own ways of promoting music. Don't make music and think like, oh, my only chance of making it or breaking through is by signing it to a label.
Yeah.
That's not the way to go, especially now. You are on your own. No one's gonna care more about you than you. So, you have to work on your own career, and you have to have the whole package. Nowadays, there's so much competition. Your music needs to be good. You need to have a strong brand. You need to have a personality in a certain way. You have to have something that attracts people.
Throwing cakes at people,
for example.
That's good branding.
Cakes always work.
So what I really like about you, and also me, we're not like the superstars, but we're still making this full time for a living, and I love to share with people that there is an in-between. You don't have to break through and be the next Martin Garrix or fail and just have another job. There are millions of jobs in between.
Yes.
There are people running labels, bookers, promoters, club owners. Like this entire scene is really big.
Yeah.
And also you have... Is the dance fair like a side job for you, or is it like...
it's a part-time job, yes. Sorry.
It's like just because the dance fair is... Can you say again when it is again?
9 and 10 May.
9 and 10 May. You should all come. It's really good. I'll link it down below.
We'll be there.
You'll be there. Yes, we'll be both there. Martin Garrix was there last year.
Yes.
Maybe this year.
I don't know. We'll see.
Because you're doing the program, so you're in contact with all of these artists, and like it's kind of something that is related to you as a producer, DJ, and label owner that helps you also in a way.
Yes.
Does it? It definitely helps in a way.
It helps a lot. It really, working for Dance Fair has really broadened my network, especially now because I do the programming. So I am in touch with all the managements, all the artists.
So every single person that is invited to speak at Dance Fair,
Well,
or at least their management.
Indirectly, the management. So for example, with Martin Garrix, we talk to the management. We set up with the management, what is he going to talk about? We take care of everything, make sure. But I mean, like Martin Garrix is like the superstar, so I don't think that's the best example. I think if you go a little bit underneath there, like the A-list names, the best producers, because there's like 300, 400 seminars in the weekend with so many artists walking around there. And most of the artists, even though they have the management approach me or I approach them, at some point you do talk to the artist because you also want to talk and that's where my producer background comes from. Is comes in handy. Is that I can talk to the artist about what they're gonna talk about. Most of the time when you invite an artist, you feel like they're a big DJ and they've played for tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
But speaking for a room of 50 people is
They've
really
never done it.
completely different. So they have no clue what to expect. Most people are actually kind of nervous.
Yeah.
Even
Last
when,
year, someone even stopped his.
even when they've played for 20,000 people, like throw your hands up, whatever, and then because it's so different, because making music is so personal, and they're like very like scared of being judged. Like the guys you idolize, they're up there, they're standing there talking about their music, and they're scared of what you are thinking about them.
Like opening up your Logic or whatever project and running someone through or producing even live.
It's a very scary thing, because you get judged very easily, and then you have you always, especially with technical stuff like this, there's always these people that think they know everything. They're like, oh, I would have done it differently.
Yeah, there are a lot of nerdy haters out there that never finished a song but know everything about every
people that are
plugin.
nowhere, but they know how to hate on others. It never gets you anywhere. So, like in that case, the best thing you can do when someone is talking about their process, just respect it and see like, okay, that's how they do it. Maybe I would have done it differently, but you can always get some insights, and it might get you that new idea of how it works.
Maybe just try out what they suggest and see if it works for you, because for some styles it works, for some processes, and there are a million of ways to finish a song.
Yeah.
But let's maybe like an example. Do you have any example of someone you talked to at the last dance fair and how you suggested them to find a topic? Was there anything interesting, exciting?
I think the funniest conversation I had was probably like 2 years ago. So I was in touch with the management of Mesto.
Yeah.
It makes future house music. He signed to Spinning Records. Most people
I know him.
Yeah, I mean, like most people.
I talked to him also last
really,
year.
Really nice guy.
And very young and talented.
I was talking back and forth through email with the management, like what are the topics, what are they going to talk about, and like all due respect, most managers or management have no idea on how to make music.
Yeah.
And that's fine because they're managers, they do their thing, but then don't talk to me about making music. Let's talk to the artist. So emailing back and forth, what are we going to talk about, blah blah, and just took forever. So I was like, just give me the number. Let's just talk for 5 minutes. So called him up. It's like, okay, what do you want to talk about?
It's a lot faster this way.
He's like, I have no idea. It's like, okay, what like latest track did you really like, or is there something special that you found? Because I'm a producer myself, I understand what is interesting to hear, what is interesting to talk about. So I just scrolled through his latest releases, like that's a really cool release, one of the latest ones, and then he's like, oh yeah, I got I had this riff with my friend from a guitar sample, and I sent it to him and he played it live. And so just by talking about it for like 2 or 3 minutes, we made an entire list of like really cool topics, and then he addressed all those topics during a seminar, and it was one of the best seminars during the weekend, just because it's something simple. But
I mean, he might lack the perspective because he's so into it and working every day and making music. The stuff that is normal for him.
It's his project.
Might be interesting for others.
So for him, it's normal. Yeah. He's done it. He's seen it. He's done everything. It's his style.
And it's released. You usually don't open old projects.
And then when he talks to a guy like me, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. How did you do that? Or how did you do that with the vocal? How did you do that with the lead? And he's like, oh, I did something really funny there. And those kind of stuff, you implement that. So that's something that we really started doing with dance fairs, that trying to build some structure and trying to finding like elements that you can talk about as an artist.
And what kind of topics do you cover at dance fair? I mean, there's like music production tutorials, basically, someone like showing their entire track.
Yeah.
And also business stuff and everything.
Yeah, so there's always a business area. This year we started calling it Dance Fair Pro because we wanted to really differentiate it a bit more.
Okay, so more geared towards the business people and not just the producers.
So, for example, I gave a seminar on how to promote your music or how to send your music for Spotify editorials, what the best way is to do it, There were like legal seminars. There were seminars about management. There's all sorts of stuff.
Basically, everything a young producer might.
Well, also a manager
Need to
or a
know.
label owner. If you don't produce music, you can still, you can still find enough topics to
Yeah.
learn from. You don't have to produce. That's a good thing about dance fair, I think, especially now with the program, is that everything is so diverse. If you're a DJ only, you can find the entire day. You can find stuff about DJing. You're set. If you're a manager of an artist or you want to become a manager, you can find business topics all day. You're good. You know, if you just want to drop your demos, you can do that all day.
Okay.
So there's, I think
Something for everyone.
Yeah.
That is in the electronic dance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's purely
That's-
electronic dance music, right?
well, there's also been songwriting. I think nowadays all music is produced electronically.
All
Like
right.
no
But
one really
no hip hop.
No, exactly. But you know, even a hip hop producer,
Could
we've had
still-
Urban last year, by the way.
Okay.
But even a hip hop producer could learn a lot because there's mixing and mastering engineers there.
Yes.
There's all sorts of stuff you can learn about.
So yeah, guys, again, if you want to check out the dance fair, I'll link it all down below. Your socials, your music, dance fair, the date of the dance fair.
Everything.
So we'll make sure a lot of people join it.